This course page lists 4 modules and 14 lessons, and here's the odd part, not one of those lessons is actually written into the page itself. The page is an empty template, the lessons live in custom fields and all the template does is walk through them. And that is what changes in this version. Up to now, NoLeemits AI Design has built static pages. From this release it builds dynamic content too, driven by real data. And it does it hand in hand with ACF, which is the standard way to put custom fields on a WordPress site. The whole chain looks like this. You write one sentence, your assistant talks to NoLeemits AI Design over MCP, and the plugin writes the fields inside ACF for you. Your assistant can be Claude, ChatGPT, or DeepSeek. It does not matter which because the connection is the same one. And they end up genuinely inside ACF, editable by hand, exportable, and still working even if you deactivate the plugin tomorrow. 2 post types, 17 fields, 3 levels deep, 1 nested inside the next, and the whole content model was written in a single pass. In the earlier videos, I already connected NoLeemits AI Design to Claude, to ChatGPT, and to DeepSeek. That part is covered, so I am not repeating it here. If you have ever built this by hand, you know exactly how it goes. You register the post type, you create the field group, then add the fields one at a time. I recorded that tutorial 2 years ago, a team section on a custom post type with custom fields in Elementor Pro, 20 minutes of video just to explain it. There was nothing wrong with that tutorial. The job itself was simply that long, and every new client project started again from the same blank screen. Let us start with the easy half, a custom post type for testimonials, which every client site ends up asking for. And if you have never made one, a custom post type is like the blog posts you already know, but with your own fields on it and its own screen in the menu. This is the entire prompt, and it is exactly what you would type to your assistant. Not a shortened version for the video, this is the whole thing. There is not one technical field name in it, and not a line of code. You describe the content you want and what should be done with it. And this is what comes out of it. 6 fields, the quote, the name, the role, a photo, a rating, and which course that person took. 6 testimonials loaded in, each carrying its own values in those fields. And one single section that queries them and paints a card for each one it finds. Look at the ratings, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5. That 4 is there because the number is real data being read off the post, not decoration. This is not a page with 6 handwritten cards in it. It is one card, written once, repeated for every testimonial that exists. So if you add a 7th tomorrow, it appears on its own. Nobody reopens the page and nothing can get broken on the way in. Now the hard half, and once again it starts with a single sentence rather than a settings screen. Look at the part doing all the work, that each module has its own lessons. That is where a repeater inside a repeater comes from. Because a course has modules and each of those modules has its own lessons inside it, that shape does not fit into a text field. What you need is a list living inside another list, and that is exactly what a repeater inside a repeater gives you. Look at the tree on screen, the course, then its modules, then the lessons underneath each one. 3 levels of nesting, 11 fields in this group. This is what the person loading the content sees. Module 1, the 3 lessons inside it, and the running time on each. Adding a lesson is one button. The template is never opened, so the client cannot break the design while adding content. And the template is just this. One block that loops over the modules and sitting inside it, a second block that loops that module's own lessons. There is no special syntax for the nesting at all. The inner repeater is written exactly like the outer one because every row opens its own context. This template is not picked page by page. It is assigned to the whole post type at once. Every course that exists, and every one created tomorrow, uses it automatically. Nothing to remember, nothing to reconnect. And this is what comes out the other end. 4 modules, 14 lessons, the minutes on every row, and the 2 flagged as a free preview showing their badge. Add those lesson times up and they come to 328 minutes. The header says 6 hours. You can check that yourself. And this is what it looks like behind the scenes in the WordPress admin, on the page the plugin just built. The page is not one pasted block of HTML. It is a list of named sections, and each one carries its own shortcode you can drop anywhere else on the site. And look at the revision history at the bottom. The source column reads MCP. NoLeemits AI Design wrote that page and the site records it. NoLeemits AI Design does not leave that section sitting there as code. It exposes every piece of text in it as a named field ready to edit. And in content mode it is a plain form and nothing more. A label and a box to type in for each piece of text on the page. The client changes the words, and the design simply cannot break, because at no point are they touching the design itself. And to prove the template really is dynamic, rather than one page I happen to get right, here is a second course. Different subject, 3 modules instead of 4, 7 lessons instead of 14, and different times on all of them. Same template, and nobody opened it. The only thing that changed was the data underneath it. Now I want to be fair here, because this is the part that usually gets told badly. Elementor does not loop through the rows of an ACF repeater natively. That is the precise claim, and it is worth stating carefully. Its loop grid covers posts, custom post types and terms, and it does that well. A single ACF field works perfectly through its dynamic tags. But repeater rows are not covered, and that is not my claim. ACF's own documentation carries an article walking you through the workaround. Bricks, on the other hand, does handle this natively, including one repeater nested inside another with no code at all. Credit where credit is due. But look carefully at what neither of them does for you, because this is the whole point: creating the post type, the fields, and the mapping between them. That part is still yours, done by hand, one field at a time in a settings screen, and that is the part that quietly eats the hours out of a project. One more thing, because it matters. With free ACF, NoLeemits AI Design works the same, but repeaters are an ACF Pro feature, and that is ACF's line, not ours. And this was one run, start to finish. One content model, one template, and no second attempt quietly fixed off camera before you saw it. About the time this takes, I want to be precise, because it is the easiest thing in the world to exaggerate. Creating the post type and that entire nested field group took 1.5 seconds. That is measured, and it is repeatable. But that number is execution time, not the whole job. Deciding what the field should be called is still thinking time, and always will be. What actually disappears is the clicking, the naming, the drop-downs, the saving, and that part used to be ours. I am a developer myself, and the part of a project that used to wear me down was never the design work, and it was never the client either. It was the plumbing, registering the post type, naming the fields, and trying to remember what I had called the subfield inside that row. That now takes minutes, and the time it gives back is time I spend on how the page actually looks. And none of this is really about courses. Courses were just the example I picked, because nesting is easy to see in a curriculum. It is the same pattern for property listings, for clinic locations, for restaurant menus, for case studies. Anything that is a list of things with a list inside it. If you build sites for clients for a living, I genuinely think this is going to take some weight off your shoulders. NoLeemits AI Design is at noleemits.com/iDesign, and the link is in the description. And if you want to see where all of this came from, the 3 earlier videos are linked in the comments. Thanks for watching.